Deep within the damp walls of a dungeon, Orhun moves with a grace that suggests years of practice. He strikes down monsters with his blade, feeling the weight of his weapon and the rhythm of his breathing. He tells himself that he hasn't gotten as out of shape as he feared and feels confident that he can still make it as a swordsman. However, his combat style is not limited to physical strength alone. He pauses to cast a spell called Strength Up, a form of support magic designed to enhance his physical abilities. Orhun understands the intricate mechanics of support magic better than most. He knows that these spells can improve a target's strength, or even harden their equipment. While most casters use these spells to help their allies from the rear, Orhun applies them to himself, boosting both his offense and defense. Yet, he is acutely aware of the primary weakness of such magic: time. Every spell has a duration, and for Orhun, his physical resistance limits his buffs to exactly 180 seconds. As the 3-minute mark approaches, he recasts the spell, knowing that an enchanter is always in a race against the clock. Most people would never dream of trying to maintain such complex magic while simultaneously swinging a heavy sword in the heat of battle, but Orhun's path is different. This solitary training is the result of a painful betrayal. He remembers a time not long ago when he was part of an elite group. He recalls standing before Oliver, the leader of the hero's party and his childhood friend. Oliver told him coldly that he was being kicked out of the group. Orhun was stunned, reminding Oliver that they were comrades who had grown up together. But Oliver was unmoved, claiming that Orhun simply couldn't keep up with the rest of them anymore. Other members of the party, Annalie and Derek, were even harsher, telling him he was nothing more than a weight slowing them down. Orhun thinks back on the 8 years he spent building that party from nothing to an S-rank legend. They were the first to reach the 94th floor of the Southern Great Dungeon, earning them the title of the Hero's Party. When he tried to warn Oliver that the group was making a mistake, Oliver pointed to a recent joint raid. He claimed that after seeing the enchanters from other top-tier parties, he realized how weak Orhun's support magic truly was. Orhun tried to explain that he was primarily a swordsman who had invented his own hybrid style of magic to fill a hole in their team, but his former friends only mocked him. They told him he was mediocre at both swordplay and magic, reaching only an A-rank level in each. They informed him they had already found a better, more specialized enchanter to take his place. Before he left, Annalie spat out a final insult, calling him a jack-of-all-trades and saying his constant advice had only annoyed them. Now, alone in the dungeon, Orhun resolves to turn that insult into his greatest strength. He vows to become an adventurer who can do anything, proving that his adaptability is a gift rather than a curse. After reaching a teleportation crystal on the 7th floor and saving his progress, Orhun prepares to leave for the day. His exit is interrupted by a group of 4 adventurers running in a panic toward the crystal. They are breathing hard and shouting about an overwhelming number of orcs. Orhun listens in disgust as the leader of the group tries to justify their cowardice. He admits that they left a girl behind, a new recruit who had just joined them that very day. The leader insists that prioritizing his old friends was the right call, even if it meant leaving the girl to die. Orhun tries to tell himself not to get involved, but the memory of being abandoned by his own party is too fresh and painful. He confronts the group, telling them that their excuses are pathetic. When the leader claims he couldn't have saved her alone, Orhun demands to know where they left her. He decides to head back into the danger, unwilling to let another person feel the sting of being discarded. Deep in the dungeon, a young girl named Sophia is cornered against a stone wall. A horde of orcs looms over her, and she screams for her sister or anyone else to save her. Just as the monsters close in, a blast of wind magic called arrow shock tears through the air. Orhun arrives and immediately begins stacking his buffs: strength up, technical up, and sharpness up. Sophia watches in awe as this stranger moves like a whirlwind, combining high-level swordplay with rapid-fire support magic. She has never seen anyone fight with such a versatile, self-sufficient style. Orhun handles the entire pack of orcs alone. Sophia breaks into tears of relief, overwhelmed by the fact that she is still alive. Once they are safely out of the dungeon, Orhun tries to take his leave, but Sophia insists on thanking him properly. She introduces herself as Sophia Claudel. Orhun recognizes the name and the crest on her cape, realizing she belongs to the Night Sky Silver Rabbits, one of the most powerful and famous guilds in the kingdom. Sophia convinces him to let her treat him to dinner at a nearby restaurant. When they arrive, Orhun realizes the shop is owned by the Silver Rabbits. Their meal is interrupted by a woman with a commanding presence. Sophia is shocked to see her older sister, Selma Claudel, who is the leader of the most powerful S-rank party in the guild and arguably the greatest enchanter on the continent. Selma is the one who revolutionized the modern party system, dividing adventurers into specialized roles like attackers, defenders, and supporters. This very system is what led to Orhun being forced out of the hero's party. Selma is initially hostile toward Orhun, assuming he is some older man trying to take advantage of her 14-year-old sister. She is protective and sharp-tongued, but Sophia quickly corrects her, explaining that Orhun saved her life after she went into the dungeon without permission. Selma softens and thanks Orhun, admitting that they had met briefly during the raid last month. She recalls that Orhun had been incredibly helpful under her command. Selma is shocked to learn that Orhun has left the hero's party. She can't understand why they would let go of someone with his talent. Seeing an opportunity, she offers him a job. She wants him to join a teaching expedition for the Silver Rabbit's new recruits. The mission involves taking the new members 50 floors down into the dungeon over just 3 days. A breakneck pace that Orhun realizes is designed to quickly strengthen the guild by having veterans clear the floor bosses for the rookies. Selma takes Orhun's hands and confesses that she deeply respects him as an enchanter. This praise makes Orhun happy, especially after being called weak by his former friends. But he is still hesitant. He tells her that he has decided to give up being a professional enchanter and has converted to a swordsman. Selma is surprised by this change, but agrees to let him join the expedition in whatever role he chooses. She believes that if things get difficult, he will naturally return to his true calling of support magic. Sophia pleads with him to come along, and Orhun eventually agrees to meet them at the guild headquarters the next morning. Before the expedition begins, Orhun visits a local shop run by a kind old man he has known for years. He feels a sense of shame as he tells the old man that he is no longer a hero and can no longer bring prestige or business to the store. He fears that without his title, he is worthless. However, the old man offers him a different perspective. He tells Orhun that he is grateful for him, not because of his title, but because of the person he is. He insists that Orhun's hard work and character are what truly matter. The old man encourages him to live for himself and to treasure the thank yous he receives from those he helps, because those words prove that he is needed in this world. This conversation gives Orhun a newfound sense of peace and purpose. The next morning, Orhun arrives at the Silver Rabbit headquarters. Selma notices that he looks much more lively and refreshed than he did the day before. Orhun admits that he feels a sense of relief to finally be free of the hero's party and the expectations that came with it. As Orhun settles into his new reality outside the hero's party, he finds himself standing in the presence of Vince Briars, the leader of the Night Sky Silver Rabbit clan. Vince acknowledges that Orhun has left his former comrades and suggests that they speak plainly to one another, avoiding any political games. Orhun agrees, feeling a sense of relief that he doesn't have to hide his history here. Vince hands the floor to Selma to explain the specifics of the teaching expedition. The plan is ambitious and grueling. They intend to escort a large group of rookies from the first floor all the way down to the 51st floor of the Great Dungeon in a mere 3 days. Selma outlines a strict schedule where they must reach the 21st floor by the end of the first day and the 36th by the second. While Orhun listens to the briefing, Vince reflects on the conversation he had with Selma when he first learned of Orhun's departure. He had initially been skeptical, finding it hard to believe that the hero's party would let such a valuable asset go. Selma, however, had been adamant about Orhun's worth. She explained that while his raw magical power might be lower than average, his casting speed is nearly 4 times faster than her own. She praised his ability to analyze chaotic battlefields, predict enemy movements, and provide perfectly timed support magic using original spells he created himself. Selma believes that without Orhun, the hero's party has been severely weakened, giving the Silver Rabbits a golden opportunity to reclaim their spot at the top of the rankings. She notes that while she is famous, truly powerful individuals like Orhun often remain in the shadows because their contributions are so seamless that they don't stand out to the untrained eye. Back in the present, Orhun quickly breaks down the logistics of the mission. There are 10 parties of rookies and only 5 escorts, including himself and Selma. The rookies will rotate through combat duties while the veterans step in only when something unusual happens. Orhun voices a concern that many would have. Why are there only 5 escorts for such a dangerous and fast-paced mission? Selma claims that the extra stress will help the rookies grow, but Orhun senses there is a deeper, more secret reason the guild is pushing so hard with such a small team. Despite his suspicions, he accepts the job when Vince offers a massive payment of 12 gold pieces, enough to live comfortably for an entire year. Selma smiles, telling him that the guild simply values his skills that highly. The following morning, the expedition gathers at the entrance of the Great Dungeon. Orhun meets Sophia, who is dressed in a fresh rookie outfit, and he kindly tells her that she looks good in the new gear. This small bit of flattery prompts a bit of teasing from Selma, who asks if Orhun is used to talking to girls because he has a girlfriend. Orhun quickly denies it, explaining that living in a mansion with female party members simply taught him how to be polite. The conversation takes a slightly awkward turn when Sophia asks where Orhun is living now, and Selma jokingly wonders if her younger sister is planning to visit him at his inn. Orhun purposefully keeps his distance from the main group of rookies, worried that his presence as a legendary adventurer might make them even more nervous. Selma notices this and leads him over to meet the other escorts, Anthem and Bernard, two sturdy defenders, and Kathy, a cheerful healer. When Selma introduces Orhun as a strong addition to the team, he tries to stay humble, but Selma refuses to let him hide his light. Orhun introduces himself as a frontline attacker, which confuses the group since he is known as an enchanter. Internally, Selma remembers her own struggle to convince Vince to let Orhun play an offensive role, but she remains hopeful that his new path as a swordsman will bear fruit. To kick off the mission, Selma gathers all the rookies and gives a stirring speech. She introduces Orhun as a former member of the Heroes Party who has reached the 94th floor. The rookies are instantly starstruck, whispering about the heroes, and feeling a massive surge of confidence. Orhun finds the grand introduction a bit much, but he understands that his reputation is being used to calm the rookies' fears. Selma assigns Orhun to Group 10, which she describes as her most promising stars. However, when Orhun meets them, he realizes he has been handed a trio of problem kids. The group consists of Logan Hayward, a cocky young enchanter who dreams of surpassing Selma, Caroline Inglot, a reckless defender who refuses to wear armor because she wants to dodge everything, and Sophia, who acts as a caster. Logan is arrogant, and Caroline is impulsive, but Sophia's presence makes Orhun feel slightly more at ease. He realizes that while they are talented, they don't actually know how to work as a team. As they begin their descent, the dungeon air turns cold. Caroline is relentless with her questions, prying into why Orhun would ever leave a famous group like the Heroes Party. Orhun tries to remain professional, telling her it's none of her business, but her persistent curiosity starts to wear on him. He notices that Sophia seems nervous, and he realizes that Caroline might actually be talking so much just to help her friend relax. Orhun demonstrates his expertise by setting invisible trap spells behind the group as they walk. These spells trigger automatically if monsters try to sneak up on them, allowing the party to move quickly without being slowed down by useless fights. By the time they reach the 21st floor, Orhun has finished his evaluation of Group 10. He sees that Logan is a genius enchanter but a terrible leader who can't give orders. Caroline is incredibly fast but lacks the destructive power to finish fights on her own. Sophia is solid and capable, but she is still too passive. He sees a lot of potential in them, but knows they have a long way to go. The day ends successfully as the escorts quickly dispatch the floor boss, and the rookies register their progress at the teleportation crystal. The next morning, Orhun's mood is soured when he reads the newspaper. A front-page article announces that the Heroes Party has officially replaced him with a new enchanter, making his banishment public knowledge. He worries that the rookies will see the news and lose respect for him. As he walks through the streets to the meeting point, he is stopped by a blue-haired girl named Luna. She is a former comrade from the Heroes Party who was away on an errand when he was kicked out. Luna is distraught and begs Orhun to come back, promising that she will convince the rest of the party to take him in. She hasn't seen the newspaper yet and still believes they can fulfill the promise they made as children to clear the great dungeon together. Orhun looks at her with a mix of sadness and resolve. He explains that it is too late. The promise was broken the moment Oliver kicked him out. He tells her that he has no desire to return to a place where he is no longer wanted. As he walks away, he thinks back to their childhood, mourning the loss of the bond they once shared. The past is dead, and Orhun knows that he must now forge a new future, far away from the shadows of his former friends. As he walks toward the dungeon entrance, his mind dwells on the headline of the morning newspaper. The article explicitly states that he was banished from the Heroes Party because he was too weak to keep up. He knew the news would break eventually, but the timing is terrible. He wonders how many people will still trust his skills now that his supposed failures are public knowledge. At the meeting point, the atmosphere is noticeably colder than the day before. The rookies huddle together, whispering about the article. They discuss the shocking news that Orhun didn't just leave the group, but was kicked out for being a liability. Logan, the confident young enchanter, is particularly skeptical, noting that Orhun's story from the previous day doesn't match the news. When Orhun finally arrives and offers a simple greeting, the response from the crowd is hesitant and awkward. The contrast to yesterday's hero worship is stark. Selma approaches Orhun immediately, her expression full of guilt. She apologizes profusely, explaining that she had no idea the news would break today. She feels responsible because she used his reputation to inspire the recruits, and now she fears the expedition will fail because of the scandal. Orhun remains calm, telling her there is no need for apologies. He warns her that if she loses her composure, the mission really will fall apart. He promises to back her up and encourages the other escorts to keep their heads high. His steady nature impresses the veteran adventurers, who agree that reaching the 94th floor is an incredible feat regardless of why he left the party. When Group 10 gathers, the reactions are mixed. Sophia and Caroline are fiercely loyal, insisting the article is full of lies and that the news doesn't change how they feel. Logan, however, asks Orhun directly if the story is true. Orhun admits that most of it is correct. He confesses that by the standards of the hero's party, he was considered too weak, and he apologizes for not being entirely transparent. Sophia argues that she saw him defeat a dozen orcs single-handedly, so he couldn't possibly be weak. Orhun thanks her for the support and promises that while he may not be a hero anymore, he will protect them as an explorer named Orhun Dura. The group enters the southern Great Dungeon once again, moving from the 21st floor toward the 35th. For the first several levels, the rookies continue to take the lead while the escorts observe. Orhun praises the girls for their combat skills, relieved to see that they still trust him. However, once they reach the 31st floor, the difficulty spikes. This marks the beginning of the middle floors, and Orhun officially takes command of Group 10. He immediately senses monsters ahead and prepares the team for battle. His orders are precise. He tells Caroline to draw the attention of the local goblins, while Sophia focuses on the orcs in the rear. He instructs Logan to provide magical buffs. Logan follows the orders, but privately thinks that Orhun's strategy seems basic and unremarkable. He begins to wonder if Orhun is truly special at all. However, the battle shifts when an orc lunges at Sophia. Logan expects Orhun to leap in and save her, but Orhun remains still, instead casting a debuff called Agility Down on the monster. He calmly tells Sophia that she isn't alone and that she should trust her comrades. Encouraged, Sophia unleashes an advanced spell called Fire Javelin, incinerating the orc instantly. Orhun is surprised by her power, as no one mentioned she could use such high-level magic. Logan is even more stunned. He realizes that Orhun's subtle debuff and his psychological support were what allowed Sophia to succeed. The true test comes on the 35th floor when they encounter a death tarantula. The rookies are terrified, knowing they aren't strong enough to face such a beast. Logan waits for a change in strategy, but Orhun gives the same basic buff orders as before. When Caroline charges recklessly, Logan tries to stop her, but Orhun intervenes with a specific instruction. He tells her to jump over the creature and slash at its back. As the fight progresses, Orhun manages every detail. He tells Logan to focus entirely on Caroline's mobility because her life depends on her ability to dodge the spider's venom. When the spider eventually catches Caroline in its webbing and drags her toward its mouth, panic sets in. But Orhun is prepared. He reveals that he had Logan cast strength and technical buffs earlier specifically, so Caroline would have the power to cut herself free from the reinforced silk. Orhun then coordinates a finishing move. He notices Logan's buffs are about to wear off, and tells him to refresh Sophia's magic power immediately. While Logan can only maintain 3 spells at once, Orhun steps in to provide the 4th, casting Sharpness Up on Caroline's daggers. This allows Caroline to break free, while Sophia delivers a crushing blow with a rock arrow spell. The spider is defeated, and Logan finally realizes the truth. Orhun wasn't just giving orders, he was reading the entire flow of the battle, predicting the enemy's moves, and perfectly timing every buff and debuff. He realizes Orhun is far more skilled than he ever imagined. After the successful day, the other escorts, Anthem and Bernard, invite Orhun to dinner. They aren't bothered by the newspaper article and want to get to know their new teammate. During the meal, they ask him why a legendary enchanter would suddenly convert to being a swordsman. Orhun explains that he wanted to be a swordsman since he was a child, inspired by his grandfather who once saved their village from a monster with a single blade. He reveals that he only became an enchanter because his party needed one to maintain their speed in the lower floors. As a jack of all trades, he was the only one capable of making the switch. However, he expresses regret, saying they should have slowed down and grown stronger rather than relying on his magic to skip ahead. He grimly predicts that without his support, the hero's party has 0 chance of ever moving past the 94th floor. He defines his new goal: He wants to be a swordsman who is so versatile that he can conquer the deepest floors of a dungeon entirely on his own. Meanwhile, at a bathhouse, the girls of Group 10 discuss the end of the expedition. Caroline points out that tomorrow is their last day with Orhun, and Sophia admits she will be sad to see him go. She wishes he would stay with the Silver Rabbits permanently. Caroline encourages her to simply ask him to stay, noting that Selma gets what she wants by being direct. Sophia worries that such a request would be selfish, but as she thinks about never seeing Orhun again, she begins to wonder if she should take the chance and ask him to remain by her side.